everyone. I hope you're all having a good day. Today, in this episode of La Toison d'Or, my channel about film and literature, I'm going to talk about my novel, The Narcissist, which is by far my most popular novel and its many influences, namely Celine's Journey to the End of the Night, which was the first absurdist novel, very nihilistic. There's an anti-hero. He deserts from the war. It was written back in the 1930s. And then he goes on all these misadventures and, comes to the realization that life really has no meaning. But it's so beautifully written, but the language just jumps off the page. It's absolutely electrifying. There's moments where you just laugh your guts out because he's so funny. Then other moments where you just want to cry because you're in the sort of the pathos of the human condition. It's absolutely incredible book. You have to read it. And the Doors song, End of the Night, was named after this novel. An absolute, probably one of the greatest novels of the 20th century. And it was acknowledged in the New York Times in 2000 by their major literary critic to be one of the top 3 novels of the 20th century. So you got to read it. It's imitated by so many writers, namely people like novels like Catcher in the Rye, for example, took this kind of picaresque, anti-hero, misadventure kind of story and popularized it. But this is the real deal. Now, it was an influence on The Narcissist because this starts out when the main character is an American soldier in the French peacekeeping corps, and he deserts. So it starts out just like Journey to the End of the Night, and it's my little nod to Celine. And the tone of the novel is a very nihilistic, pessimistic, but it's also funny, mesmerizing. The language jumps off the page. So it's very much a tribute to Celine. But there's other elements, and that's the amazing thing about The Narcissist, is that it brings in so many different things. He deserts, he goes back to France, and then he goes to see his girlfriend, Gillian. They go off with her professor. She's studying Antonioni on this island, and she disappears. And that is actually, that whole scene was patterned after Antonioni's film La Ventura, where a woman disappears on an island. And then after that, it becomes this kind of surreal mystery, which was patterned after Paul Auster's New York trilogy, and then it goes very, very film noir. And so one reviewer actually, he made the comment, he said, this is an amazing novel because it keeps on jumping around. It's memoir, it's noir, it's it keeps shifting. It's like all these genres kind of patched together, and that's exactly what I was doing. So I was very happy that the reviewer actually noticed what I was doing here. It's basically crossing all these genres and bringing them together. A lot like Francois Truffaut's film Jules et Jim, which is it brings in melodrama, it brings in memoir, it brings in all these different styles of filmmaking into one canvas. Yet it's very cohesive. This is a cohesive novel, but it took me many drafts to actually bring it all together because it's just going in so many different directions, and the underlying premise is just so sort of far left field, like what actually happens to his girlfriend Gillian. She disappears, a body washes up on shore. They say that it's her, but it's not been properly identified. He doesn't believe it is. She was studying the poetry of Antonioni, who was a surrealist poet, and so he believes somehow that her disappearance lies in the poetry of Artaud, and then he dives into that and goes on this nebulous, nihilistic journey through the streets of Paris, and that's where Journey to the End of the Night comes back into play. So anyway, it brings all these things together, like Paul Auster, Celine, Antonioni, film noir, like the film noir classic Kiss Me Deadly, for example, was a big influence on this. So you got to check it out, as you do with my new novel, The Orphean, that came out in September, which is about a day in the life of a men's fashion and fragrance influencer on his way to meet his estranged daughter in this twisted, Kafkaesque landscape. This is very much like influenced by Kafka's novel, The Trial. It's all about guilt, and also influenced by Peter Handke, because it's this kind of probing psychological novel. But I strongly encourage you to check this one out too. So anyway, thank you for listening, and I hope to see you again.